Good evening. Booktube, back to Light in August, chapter 7 this time. I was almost going to start a read through of As I Lay Dying. I'm ready to. Very accessible book, in my opinion. Easy read. For me, this was easy to get into. It's a comedy. I like dark comedies. Um, but let's finish up with this. I decided on. Plus, I'm reading good morning, fellow booktubers. We're on chapter 7, Light in August. This is the chapter where we see Mr. McEachern in his full psychopathic, brutal corporal punishment, religious uh, temperament. He really beats on young Joe Christmas, and you feel sorry for the young boy. The chapter begins with a memory again, and memory knows this. 20 years later, memory is still to believe. And in Itals, on this day I became a man. No ending punctuation. And throughout my copy, I've read this copy. It's battered. You can see I write in my books. Um, Probably read this copy at least 3 times. So, and then besides my notes in different colors, I have highlighted words that I didn't know, like redolent, melandion. And I have a lexicon I could add below. Um, all I have to do is. So, Mr. McEachern is a Presbyterian fundamentalist. He's forcing the catechism, the book for any of you Catholics or Lutherans who went through catechism. It's like school. You get confirmed. You take a saint's name sometimes if you're Catholic. Um, but this is more Presbyterian hometown religion. He really, and Joe Christmas, as we know, since he's Mr. Abstinent since a wee lad of age 3, just you tell him one thing, he'll do the opposite. Um, but he, so Joe Christmas refuses to learn. Almost loses his virginity, blows that, ends up freaking out and beating the young Negro woman. They were going to pull a chain. Joe Christmas isn't black, right? Gee, I forgot that. Cut. Um, but they pull him off this woman, and because he was kicking her and beating her, and all the boys pull him off. Page 147. Then she fled beneath his fist, and he too fled backward as the others fell upon him, swarming, grappling, fumbling, he striking back, his breath hissing with rage and despair. Then it was male he smelled. They smelled. Somewhere beneath it, the she, scuttering, screaming. They trampled and swayed, striking at whatever hand or body touched, until they all went down in a mass, he underneath. So she's getting, will you quit now? We got you. Promise to quit now? No, he said. He heaved, twisting. Quit, Joe. You can't fight us all. Don't nobody want to fight you anyway. No, he said, panting, struggling. None of them could tell who was who. They had completely forgot about that girl. Why they had fought, if they had ever known. 147. So it's in here that Christmas is growing up. He's doing chores, man things at like around 10, certainly around secrets they keep. And he's been keeping secrets with Mrs. McEachern too. Small things like, the money that he hides or she gives him, food. There's a real poignant scene where as a youngster, he refuses the food. This is when he's growing up with the catechism and all. Um, Throws the food that she brings him, that his mother brings him, but only later to eat it on all four legs like a dog. But the secret with the heifer, and that's finally discovered, and she tries to cover up, not knowing that Christmas has already come clean with his dad, and Mr. McEachern, as manly frontiersman would, makes his wife kneel down, page 155. Kneel down, kneel down, woman. Ask grace and pardon of God, not of me. Then he proceeds to beat his wife. Um, the new tie. Joe is trying to impress the new waitress. Her name's Bobby. They go on a date. She ends up being a prostitute. Well, she is one. He's too naive to know. There's several examples of his naivety in here. This isn't a line by line analysis, so I jump around in these. If anyone's following, they know that. He's 17 on page 162. So on page 165 already, when he goes to town, turns 18 on 166. The coffee or pie, this is where there's a father on by the page 168. We're at the scene where he's trying to get to know this waitress a little more, the ins and outs of this coffee shop. Orders pie and coffee, ends up he can't pay for both, owes a nickel, makes a big deal to come back and pay for this nickel and everything. He gets ridiculed by the other people. The owner, they have sex, is page 183, and it's after the menstruation scene. There's some cross references in here back when Christmas was age 3 and 5 with the sexual symbols. I think I'm going to let you find that out for yourself. Might get back into that depending on any comments. But I'd like to start zooming through this. Okay, chapter 9. Got Mr. McEachern laying in bed. Now he is an insomniac. Page 189. He's watching from his window. As McEachern watched him from the window, he felt something of that pure and impersonal outrage which a judge must feel to see a man on trial for his life lean and spit on the bailiff's sleeve. So, as Joe Christmas would spit on the bailiff's sleeve. Page 192. Exactly. Joe Christmas finally stands up to his father and knocks him down. Knocks McEachern lay on his back. He looked quite peaceful now. He appeared to sleep, blunt-headed, indomitable, even in repose. Even the blood on his forehead, peaceful and quiet. It's nice, isn't it? So we have that and more for your enjoyment. Sadistic. Christmas treats Horace as his father beat him, like an animal. Sick. Yeah, he does. He beats Horace, page 197. Joe pulled at its head, beating it, but it slowed into the curb and stopped. Shadow dappled, its head down, trembling, its breathing almost like a human voice. Yet still the rider leaned forward in the arrested saddle, in the attitude of terrific speed, beating the horse across the rump with the stick, etc. Max and Mame, the owners of. More Bobby, that's the waitress, the prostitute. Um, yeah, my copy is all marked up. Here we are, the first example of two. First is 204, where Faulkner almost comes very close to writing the F word. Last paragraph on 204. Perhaps Joe did not hear her at all, nor the screaming waitress. He told me himself he was a nigger. The son of a bitch. Me effing for nothing. A nigger son of a bitch that would get me in a jam with clodhopper police at a clodhopper dance, etc. And I'll write out the dialogue. Me effing for nothing, but he effing, with a. And the second one appears a few pages later in chapter 10 on 208. But we'll get to chapter 10 next time. Gasho.